Alright, first video of the day. So I'm going to be starting off with the Bitcoin news. If you watch my channel, I always do the Bitcoin technical analysis first. So this really isn't a technical analysis video. This is more of the news of what is happening in the past few days, few weeks, and what I think it will have as a consequence to the market. So if we come to the volume, simply just look at this volume that stepped in yesterday. We had absolutely insane volume. Huge dip was brought up. I mean, if you look at this wick on this daily candle, there was just a huge amount of buyers stepping in. So what I believe is currently happening right now, obviously I'm sure you're all aware of what's going on with the news, Russia and Ukraine, etc. There's a few updates that I think is going on with that. So as you probably know, a lot of these Russian banks are getting sectioned, and also I do believe that Russia is talking about, sanctioning, their own country's banks. They've previously mentioned multiple times how, they don't want their country to basically go out and buy Bitcoin and put it on a hardware wallet. So, they want complete control over it. So I believe that, Russia's talking about a way in which they can, control all of the Bitcoin that is bought and sold in that country. And, they can decide whether it's going to be sent to a hardware wallet or not. So what I think's happening right now is, obviously, the Russian stock market is tanking. I won't make this video about the Russian stock market, but the Russian stock market has absolutely taken a nosedive off the cliff. So, in my opinion, a lot of this buying volume specifically that came in yesterday, I do believe it was Russians potentially entering Bitcoin under fears that their banks may be sanctioned, their assets may be sanctioned, and they may realize that Bitcoin is a much greater alternative because if you own your keys, you have full control over your assets. Now, despite this huge spike in volume, you can see the money flow indicator really didn't turn up too much, so this kind of was a one-sided party. I believe just over 20,000 Bitcoins were purchased in this dip yesterday, which is an insane amount of Bitcoins for a single day, especially as we haven't made new lows yet. So what I currently think is happening in the short term, Russians are exiting their banks where they know they could be sanctioned. It's not just Russia as well. I'm sure if you've seen the news in Canada, they're sanctioning their people's banks. So what I believe in the short term is happening is a lot of these countries that are involved in these sanctions are going to be entering crypto and Bitcoin specifically. This is what I kind of see as this huge spike in volume, because if you've been watching my Bitcoin videos on the technical analysis, I have been saying I do believe that we are going to come down at least to this this low here. I mean, if we have double bottomed already and this is the low, then so be it. Personally, like I said, I won't be getting out of bed for Bitcoin at 46,000, but personally I will be buying while we are below 40,000. I said yesterday I bought at 36,000. I will ladder in my buys because I am still expecting lower price targets, potentially between 33 and 31. Do bear in mind, the crypto fear and greed index reached its extreme fear yesterday. We have now come into fear, and I believe that is partially due to the volume that has come in. There's obviously a big buy-in volume, so while a lot of the markets are trending downwards, the US stock market's having a big pump today, but do bear in mind we are still below all of the levels that we need to be above. The dollar is exploding in value since all of this war announcement is going on. Gold has gone up a little bit as well, so I mean people are really fearful. So despite us not being in extreme fear, I personally just don't see this being the absolute bottom for Bitcoin. Like I said, I think a lot of volume is going to come in the next few days under fear of countries like Russia, Ukraine, Canada, etc., that these sanctions will be coming in. So I believe a lot of people are looking for a non-foreign sovereign place to kind of store their wealth. So, and obviously that is what Bitcoin is. You're financially sovereign, you have complete control over your own assets. Some people might be confused if I call it sovereign, but I mean financially sovereign. Obviously sovereign is where someone has specifically the government has full control over your assets, but I like to call Bitcoin financially sovereign, because, you know, if you own your keys, you have full sovereign rights, you control it entirely, you are your own bank. So this is what Bitcoin is. Like I said, this isn't really a technical analysis update. I will have one of those coming out later, but I do just want to kind of reiterate to you that, you know, we are still below all the key areas that we need to be above for Bitcoin. I do believe a lot of people are just entering this market out of fear in sanctions. Obviously, the US delayed their US crypto policy a couple of weeks ago on the 17th, so you know, this was prior to the Russia news. This was 8 days ago. But personally, I believe that as they've had time to delay their policy, you know, which is kind of suspicious. It's 1 week before this news comes out, so, you know, it is very, very suspicious what's going on. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, if it is Russia specifically and countries like Canada entering Bitcoin and crypto out of fear that, you know, their assets or their banks, etc., are going to get frozen, I do believe this is going to give the US time to kind of flip their stance on Bitcoin. You know, you can tell that they're not exactly the biggest fans of it. They have been kind of left in the dust by a lot of other places, but, you know, specifically, if we do find out, like, if my theory is correct, and, you know, a lot of these countries that are having sanctions on them are entering Bitcoin as a means to kind of escape their government control, then I do believe that the US will potentially try and stop that. You know, obviously, if you have a hardware wallet, there's no way that you can stop that, but, you know, they don't really know this. Sleepy Joe isn't, you know, the biggest Bitcoin fan. He doesn't know too much about it either, so, you know, I do believe that if we do find out this is Russia buying up all the Bitcoin, etc., then it will probably have dire consequences. I believe the US may update their policy to maybe try and ban Russians buying Bitcoin, and, you know, something of that sort. You know, I don't necessarily know what they would bring out, but if they did update their policy and finally bring it out, and it was in negative favor for Bitcoin, then you could obviously see that, you know, this could just be another short-lived pump before we do roll over. So that is really all I wanted to share for you today. Like I said, this is just a news update. I will have a technical analysis update for you later. I always do, you know, Bitcoin at the end of the day to, you know, kind of wrap everything up. So yeah, that is what I'm seeing for the Bitcoin news. Be safe out there. Yeah, take care. Cowboy out. Peace.